Thumbnailing is the first and most important step in drawing a comic. It also tends to make my brain hurt, so here's a few quick tips that will hopefully save a few of our brain cells. Hey, Walter here, and welcome to another How to Make Comics video. Make sure you check out the previous videos and make sure you sub if you want to catch more videos. But today we're talking about thumbnailing, and this is going to be a quick overview of it because there's just way too much to go over in a single video. So watch the video, think of some questions, and let me know what they are in the comments, and I'll do my best to either answer them in the comments or I'll make a video specifically about that topic. Knowledge bit number one, what is thumbnailing? Thumbnailing is basically drawing your comic but much smaller and much simpler. Now this isn't true for everybody, but I'll get back to that later. So why do we thumbnail? Well, we thumbnail for the same reasons we use gesture and mannequins when we're drawing figures. Thumbnailing allows us to lay the foundation for storytelling for the comic, and storytelling is the most important part about comics. It allows us to figure out the pacing and the placement, the composition and the movement without spending too much time. It is a real powerful tool that I think everybody should be using. Now, if you're working digital, make sure you download my thumbnail template. If you're working traditional, you're gonna have to get a piece of paper, a ruler, your knowledge of math and measurement, and figure out how to divide the paper up that works best for you. Knowledge bit number two, keep it simple. Now, the reason why I think thumbnails should be smaller and simpler is because thumbnails are about storytelling. They're not about drawing. So the least amount of time you can spend on drawing and the more amount of time you spend on storytelling, the better off your comic's gonna be in the long run. Also, like if you're thumbnailing page 4 and you realize that something you did in page 1 doesn't work anymore, you gotta go back to page 1 and fix it. Now, if you spent 1 minute drawing page 1, it's not a big deal. But if you spent 30 minutes drawing page 1, then that's a completely different story. So what kind of things can go wrong when you're working on thumbnails? It could be as simple as like character placement. Like maybe the word balloons don't work with where you have the characters. Check out my lettering video if you want some more information about what I'm talking about there. It could be maybe the action is moving in the wrong direction, or maybe the characters aren't in the right place for an action scene to happen, or the punch to get thrown the characters across the room. It could also be something with the writing itself. Like maybe on page 4, it says the character picks up a phone. But in pages 1, 2, 3, it never mentions a phone, so the phone's not there, so you gotta go back and somehow figure out how to put a phone into the room. And are we actually in a room? This is a side thing completely, something else, but in writing, sometimes the writers can completely forget to mention stuff that they're just assuming that people know. Like they say blah, 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 but they never say if we're in a room or if we're in the ocean or if we're on a boat or where we're in space, who knows? So, but that's just a side thing to think about. Knowledge bit number 3, do the work. Now you'll notice I keep saying page 4 and page 1 as I'm thumbnailing all of it. I really think it's important to thumbnail the entire comic before you start drawing. Now for me, to thumbnail an entire graphic novel would probably burst my brain into a billion little pieces. So I wouldn't thumbnail an entire graphic novel. I like to thumbnail like maybe issues or chapters. You could go down as low as maybe thumbnailing a single scene. That way you know that entire scene works. But you don't want to thumbnail one page and then draw it, and then thumbnail the next page and then draw it, because you're basically going to run into the problem of you get to page 4 and page 1 is wrong, and now you got to go back and fix a page that maybe you spent 4 hours, 8 hours on. So do the work, make sure you thumbnail an entire scene at the very least. I prefer to do a full issue, and the reason I do that is because I like to spend an entire day doing thumbnails, and for me I can thumbnail about 20 to 24 pages in a day. And if you think about that, I'm drawing like stick figures, but yet I'm still spending like 12 hours thumbnailing 20 pages, and the reason for that is because I am trying to figure out where the characters go, what angle I should be showing in the location so we can see all the information we need to see. Knowledge bit number 4, draw the word balloons. Word balloons are super important in comics. The placement and the size of them can really affect the readability and the enjoyment for the reader. So why not figure that stuff out while you're doing the thumbnails? So what I like to do is I draw the panel and then I draw in a rough guess on the size of the word balloon, and then I compose the panel and the characters around that. And at first it can be a little tricky figuring out what size the word balloon's supposed to be, but as you do it, you'll get more and more used to it. And it's better anyways to kind of err on the size of it being too big as opposed to too small, because you want to be able to fit the word balloons and fit the lettering inside the word balloons. Now, if you're working digitally, you can just manually type in the lettering so you know that you have enough space. I don't like to do this personally because it takes me out of my thumbnail mode, and I really need to stay in my thumbnail mode to get the thumbnails out quickly, and I don't want to be pulled out of that for any reason. That should get you started with thumbnailing. Like I said, if there's anything you want more detail on, or if there was something I didn't cover, please let me know in the comments and I will do my best to accommodate. Now I have a question for you. What types of videos would you like to see more from me? Do you like these technical videos, or would you like more storytime videos like the How I Became a Featured Webtooner? Or would you like vlog type videos that just kind of go over what it's like to be a full-time artist? Please let me know in the comments, but until next time, be sure to like, link, love, hug, and sub for more sweet, sweet goodness. Peace.